In the top stories, post-pandemic tourism growth is continuing to surge across St. Kitts and Nevis. A survey carried out in Bermuda has found that binge drinking during pregnancy remains a concern, and NATO leaders are expected to reaffirm their collective defense pact at next week's summit. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Major Newscast. Today is Friday, the 3rd of July, 2026. I'm Jason Davis. Nationally, Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Marsha Henderson, says the Federation is continuing to enjoy an increase in tourist arrivals. Speaking at Wednesday's groundbreaking ceremony for the new cruise ship terminal at Port Zante, Minister Henderson said the industry has recorded its strongest post-COVID-19 pandemic numbers.
Millions of visitors have stepped ashore on Port Zante, supporting local businesses, creating employment opportunities, and contributing significantly to national development. Over the years, we have experienced growth in this sector. To date, we have welcomed 682 passengers, the most post-pandemic, and the season has not ended. We go up until 30th of September. For us, this is also the best summer we have had post-pandemic.
Minister Henderson added that visitors are also spending more during their stay.
Millions of visitors have stepped ashore on Port Zante, supporting local businesses, creating employment opportunities, and contributing significantly to national development. Over the years, we have experienced growth in this sector. To date, we have welcomed 600. Central pillar of our tourism strategy is resilience. By diversifying and expanding our cruise offerings, we are creating new opportunities for increased visitor spending, additional overnight stays, stronger airlift connectivity, and broader economic participation. This project is therefore far more than
With St. Kitts and Nevis set to join Antigua and Barbuda and Barbados as a home port, Minister Henderson said diversifying the Federation's cruise tourism industry will lead to further economic growth.
The central pillar of our tourism strategy is resilience. By diversifying and expanding our cruise offerings, we are creating new opportunities for increased visitor spending, additional overnight stays, stronger airlift connectivity, and broader economic participation. This project is therefore far more than an investment in infrastructure. It is an investment in our people, in our businesses, and the long-term prosperity of our nation.
Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Marsha Henderson. The Nevis Island Administration broke ground on Wednesday for a multi-million-dollar expansion and enhancement project at the Vance W. Amory International Airport. Speaking at the ceremony, Premier the Honorable Mark Brantley said the groundbreaking marks a historic milestone in Nevis's development that will benefit generations to come. He added that the expansion is expected to increase air traffic to the island, strengthen tourism, stimulate economic activity, and create opportunities for Nevisians. The project is being funded through a federal government guaranteed $20 million loan from the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank, a $20 million concessional loan from the Republic of China Taiwan, and $20 million in investment capital from businessman Patrick Drahi. The project is expected to be completed within 18 months and will include a 2,000-foot extension of the airport's runway, bringing its total length to 6,000 feet. It'll also include the construction of a fuel farm, a fire hall, a modern terminal building, a customs hall, and a larger parking apron capable of accommodating up to 50 jets. As St. Kitts and Nevis prepares to host the Association of National Olympic Committees of the Eastern Caribbean Athletics Championships this weekend, Minister of Sport, the Honorable Samuel Duggins, says staging major regional events brings significant benefits to the Federation. The championships will bring together athletes from host nation St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the British Virgin Islands to compete for regional honors at the Kim Collins Stadium this Saturday and Sunday.
Making sure that St. Kitts and Nevis stays afloat, and we have some of the best athletes in the region. In fact, we've had one of the fastest men in the world. Our very own Kim Collins is still in the Guinness World Book of Records as the fastest man over 40. So we have some of the best athletes in the world, and to bring a number of people to our shores to witness our athletes, their athletes, and the region on display ought to be as well for our country.
The championships come just 1 week after the St. Kitts Music Festival, which attracted more than 4,000 visitors to the Federation. We'll be right back with regional news after this.
It's that time again. Kittitian Superstar is back, and we are looking for our 2026 contestants. This year, there are more prizes and more surprises. If you think you've got what it takes to be our next superstar, just upload a video of yourself performing any song to your social media with the hashtag KSS2026, or you can WhatsApp that video to 668-4647. That's 668-4647. Submissions are open right now.
Welcome back. Now taking a look at news on the regional scene, a survey of pregnant women in Bermuda has found that binge drinking during pregnancy remains a concern, while the use of e-cigarettes is on the rise. The 2025 survey conducted by the Department for National Drug Control found that although tobacco use has declined significantly over the past 20 years, binge drinking in the later stages of pregnancy continues to be a persistent issue. The report also identified vaping as an emerging concern, with the number of women reporting e-cigarette use rising sharply since the last survey in 2020. The findings, based on responses from 60 pregnant women, will be used to guide public health education, prevention programs, and support services. The goal, officials say, will be to help shape future policies aimed at improving the health of mothers, babies, and families. The Court of Appeal has denied bail to former Turks and Caicos Premier Michael Misick and 2 former senior government officials pending their appeals against conviction. The court ruled that none of the 3 had shown the exceptional circumstances required to justify release after conviction. The judges also found that they had failed to demonstrate that their appeals were likely to succeed, or that they face a real risk of serving most of their sentences before the appeals are heard. Misick was sentenced in May to 4 years and 26 days in prison after being convicted on 3 bribery counts linked to government land and development deals. The court's ruling means Misick and his 2 co-appellants will remain in custody while their appeals proceed. Internationally, NATO leaders are expected to reaffirm their commitment to the alliance's collective defense pact when they meet in Ankara next week. A draft summit declaration approved by NATO ambassadors reaffirms that an attack on one member will be treated as an attack on all under Article 5 of the Washington Treaty. The declaration also commits NATO members to providing 70 billion euros in military assistance to Ukraine next year, with at least the same level of support planned for 2027. The summit comes after U.S. President Donald Trump repeatedly questioned NATO's defense spending arrangements and suggested the United States could leave the alliance. The draft declaration also describes Russia as a long-term threat to Euro-Atlantic security and reiterates that Iran must never develop a nuclear weapon. And speaking of Iran, Iran has begun a week of funeral ceremonies for slain Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Khamenei's body lay in state in Tehran today as senior clerics, government officials, foreign dignitaries, and thousands of mourners paid their respects. The late Supreme Leader was killed in February during the war with Israel and the United States, bringing his 37-year rule to an end. His body will be taken to the Shiite holy city of Najaf, and Karbala before his burial in Mashhad, home to Iran's most holiest shrine. Iran authorities expect millions of people to take part in the week-long funeral processions as the country continues to project unity following the conflict. That's it for international news. Now let's take a look at the weather. A tropical wave will keep the chance of showers elevated across St. Kitts and Nevis today before conditions gradually improve later this evening. Temperatures are expected to reach a high of 32 degrees Celsius or 90 degrees Fahrenheit with an overnight low of 25 degrees Celsius or 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Today will be partly cloudy and hazy with a 60% or moderate chance of showers. Tonight will be partly cloudy and hazy with a 20% or slight chance of showers as conditions improve. Winds will be from the east at 9 to 28 kilometers per hour or 6 to 17 miles per hour. Seas are moderate with waves of 1.2 to 1.8 meters or 4 to 6 feet. Sunset today is at 6:49 p.m., sunrise tomorrow at 5:41 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Major Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Jason Davis.